welcome back to another episode of Kingpin Chronicles. I'm your host DP, man. I hope y'all already subscribed. If you ain't, just right down there, man. It don't cost nothing to click that button, man, and become a member, man. Make sure you turn on the notifications, which is the little bell right next to it, so that you'll be notified every time I create some content. Come with one of these good old 5 stories or reaction to something going on in the black community of Marseille culture. But today I want to get into a post that I shared with a video that was used in my last run-in with law enforcement down in St. Pete. And tell this story, I have to go back to around 2012 or 13, somewhere in that area where I had just got out of prison, and I was, at the crossroads of my life. I had a business that I was operating, and, I was trying to navigate my way out of the streets. When I went to prison, during the time I was in prison, I had told myself that I was done selling dope. When I mean dope, I mean cocaine, because that was my drug of choice to sell in my younger life. But I had decided, I wasn't going to deal with that no more, because it had just, I had felt like I had my run with that, and my luck would be running out. Again, we're talking around 2012, 13. And then we had some issues where one of my close friends got unalived, and it just made things crazy right around that time. And, I was doing my thing with the bud, coming from out of Northern Cali with the bud. And that wasn't going too good, because I kind of had got hot with that before I went to prison. And they kind of was waiting for me when I came out for my 2-year sentence that I had. I kind of got back right to it with that, and it was just loss after loss after loss with that. And a couple of my people wound up going to jail. So I just knew that it was time to leave that alone, because it was all over that. And, the coke thing, I had already went to prison for dealing with that. So I was skeptical about dealing with any of those two things, because I felt like it was kind of what they expected me to do. So I had my shop at the time, and I was working on the cars and welding and stuff like that. And there was a dude that worked across the street from me, and me and him was cool. We used to talk shit all the time. He used to call me Little Monster. And it was Sam, man. Sam turned me on to the dog food game. He was like, man, get you some of this shit. I was like, shit, I need to make some money, man. I can't afford with that. I can't do this shit slow with the cars. Man, so he was like, man, get you some of this. And he introduced me to this guy. And, I take off. He showed me how to play with it a little bit, because with that you could get, if you're really dealing with somebody that got what you're looking for, you can get that in turn of 1 and 2 or 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? Depending on how good it is. And that's what I really liked about that game, that I was able to, as long as I was scoring something that was good, I could put a 2 or a 3 or a 4 on it, you know what I'm saying? Really, really, really see some profits. And, I was really just like a breakdown dude. I wasn't a weight dude. But just so happened at the same time, it was this major, it was a big investigation going on with some other dudes in the city. And this dude, Flat Top, he was from the city from what I understand, but had moved to California according to the paperwork. That's all I can speak on, is what's in the paperwork. It was on the news clips, and I rewatched some of this stuff last night just to make sure I ain't get it wrong, you know what I'm saying? But now that all of this is over, I'm tying this together to let y'all know how I got caught up into what I got caught up in, and how I really got up out of it. they was like, the people he was dealing with was my competition. I wasn't dealing with him. I wasn't dealing with nobody that was dealing with him. Kind of had my own people's doing their thing, plugging me in with it, and I was separate from them. And I did my thing for a couple of years, and what made things hot was for me, and I think kind of for the people that was dealing with this dude was, violence, man. Somebody got murdered, and it kind of shed light on everything, because I was at my shop, but I was kind of a mobile dude, and right across the street from me was another shop, and they was pretty much my competition. The dude that turned me on to the game worked across the street at this other shop, and he kind of put me in a position where I was short stopping what they was doing, unknowingly, because I really didn't know they was doing their thing like that. But come to find, all of these people that was dealing with this other dude that was coming out of town was burning that shop up. They stayed over there in and out of there, dealing with each other and other people and all kind of stuff. And I kind of had my own thing going. We kind of had a mixed clientele, meaning we dealt with some of the same, like street walking people and buddies in the hood type of people. But we was two completely different, I guess you could say, operations, or however you want to put that. But they was doing their thing, I was doing my thing. It kind of caused a rift between us. And at the same time, this whole thing was going on with my little partner had got unalive. It was just a bunch of animosity around that whole situation. And I just kept doing my thing and stayed to my stuff like I normally typically be. And I had this guy working with me, and we kind of started to see different and just had a bunch of differences about stuff. And he started calling the police on me a lot. We would get in arguments, and this dude would call the police on me. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where I just, deaded everybody, man. I got everybody from around me, and it came to the point where we got into it one day, and he called the police, and the police came over there, and basically I told him, man, look, man, him and this old lady over there, man, they bothering with my customers and all of this, and the police actually tell me, man, look, these people been calling the police on you every day, telling us you're selling drugs out of your business right here, but they don't never have no evidence to present us with. So, we kind of feel like they just harassing you. And I was like, yeah, just let them know, I don't got no problems, and I don't want to press no charges on them for harassment, but that if they continue, I handle it in court, suing them or whatever, defamation for character or whatever. The police kind of stopped acting as far as pulling up in my shop and getting into it with me, because I'm telling them off top, man, get off my property and a warrant. I don't want to talk type of stuff, and I just never really had a good attitude with dealing with the police. But time would go by, and what would happen is I would start getting pulled over. Just random traffic stops. I knew what was going on, because they were stopping me for no reason. It came to one point where it was this one particular dude that I knew was bad. I just had the feeling he was bad, and I wouldn't deal with him. I had been dealing with him, but he went bad, and I just stopped dealing with him. So I just stopped dealing with him, and I kind of told people, y'all could fuck with him, but don't bring him around me. You know what I'm saying? Don't let him know you fuck with me on nothing, because I don't think he's right. And I ain't deal with him. And one day, my dude Sam, the same dude turned me on. He called me down to his house. You know what I'm saying? Asked some money. And I pull up, Sam come outside. Me and Sam holler, do what we do. And this nigga poke his head out the door and smile at me, and just was like, just like, yeah, nigga, I got your ass. So I'm like, Sam, man, I told you, boom, 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 boom. Hurry up, pull off. They let me get around the corner before they pulled me over. They pulled me over. You know, I'm good at what I do, so I make sure I don't get caught with nothing. And they pulled me over and immediately just snatched me out of the car, out of my truck. I had a truck at the time. Snatched me out of my truck, throw me in cuffs, throw me in the backseat of the police car, start tearing my truck up. They don't find nothing. They come over there, start talking shit to me. I tell them, man, look, I ain't did nothing wrong, man. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we talked to our supervisor, and he told us we don't have to take you in. He ain't had nothing to take me in for, you know. But I knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? And I knew I was hot because I done got pulled over. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3 times, and they swept me. They ain't even telling me no reason for pulling me over. They just snatched me out of the car, cuffs in the backseat of the car, tear my car, my vehicle up. So I know I'm hot. So a little time goes by and I stop moving around like that. I just kind of sit still. And everything was just bad, man. You could see the police sitting around in my cars all around in my area and stuff like that. So I kind of just knew it was bad and everything was hot. Because when you got violence and you got all this other stuff involved, you know, it kind of make them have to do their job. So, and at the same time, they got this investigation going on with this other dude that's going out of town. That's a completely different operation than me. So, what happened was, it's this dude. I don't know the dude. I never met the dude. I couldn't identify the dude. But I got these old school dudes, God bless them, my old homeboy Cone and all them. Used to have an auto body shop that I came up under them old school dudes. But Cone them come up to my shop one day and they tell me, they asked me if I know this dude. It was like, you know this dude named Boogie. So I was like, nah, I don't know nobody named Boogie. So it was like, this dude Boogie had been serving the police and they wound up busting. And when they bust them, they don't take them to jail. They take them down to their little debriefing station they got over in by Woodlawn. They got a little spot where they take dudes and debrief them and shit like that. So they take him there, and they don't arrest him. They let him go. When they let him go, he come to Cone them shop and tell Cone them that they showed him pictures of some dude, my name, and then another dude, and was asking him about us. So Cone them, as soon as he left, came and told me, don't fuck with that nigga, But I'm like, I don't even know this dude. I don't even know this dude. I never seen him. I never dealt with him. I never nothing. But what that tell me is these people see me as being something that I don't look at myself as being no major person in the game. I never did because I never was like no supplier or no shit like that. I always get mine. I'm gonna go to the streets with it. So I always just saw myself as like a street level dude. But this dude made it seem like they had me as like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I don't even know this dude. I ain't never dealt with him. But I know something wrong. Something bad wrong. Something real wrong. So a little time go past, and my sister passed away. And my mom get the news of that. My mom called me to come over to her house because, you know, talk about my sister passing and what we was gonna do and just all of that stuff, you know. I go to my mom's house. The video I shared is a short snippet of it. That video is actually about 15 minutes long. But in the video, you can actually see where I pull up, I walk up to the house, and I actually sit on the porch with my mom and start talking. They throw down on me, and they wind up basically just ain't had no reason to do nothing. They had no warrants, they ain't had no nothing. they just felt like they were just going. They had some kind of information, right? And I ain't gonna say what I know, but they had until I had something in the car, supposedly, allegedly, and they pulled this whole move, basically a kidnapping, man. They just take me, take my car, take everything, they take it all to jail. You know what I'm saying? Basically for no reason. And I wound up having to bond out of jail and fight the case. And it was I fought that case for 7 years, from 2015 till I went to trial in December of 2021. I had a 2-day trial, and that video is what helped me to win the trial because it showed that all of the officers really was lying about what happened that day. That they had no reason to be bothering me. They had no reason to take my car, and one of the officers actually just took my keys out my pocket, went over, unlocked my car, jumped in and cranked it up and drove it off. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of stuff wrong with the way that they arrested me. None of the drugs that they alleged to have found had any DNA or fingerprints or anything that tied me to the drug. The packaging, no fingerprints, no DNA tied me to the narcotics. So that was one thing. And then the weights on the drugs there were discrepancies in the weights from the time they alleged to have seized the narcotics to the time they made it to the lab, because it was short by the time they made it to the lab. Drugs was missing. So allegedly. But there was a bunch of stuff that we was able to bring up in court that allowed me to be able to be found not guilty in that case, because for one, they had no probable cause for talking to me or approaching me for any investigation, right? Because I hadn't done anything wrong. There was no nothing really, and they just did what they wanted to do because these dudes give them intel and they trust their sources, so when they got a source that they feel is reliable and them sources give them information, they move on it. Sometimes they jump the gun, sometimes they move wrong. So I was able to take every aspect and find everything that they did wrong and put it on blast, because those are going to be the points that they're going to use against you in court. But everything I want to do on this channel gotta have like a reason for me telling the story, right? And I'm not telling that story to make like I'm somebody great or big, or I beat them people and ooh yeah, rah rah rah, beat on my chest with that. No. The moral of this story is that it don't matter how low key you think you is, who you think you don't fuck with. I don't fuck with them, I just fuck with my people. Boom, 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 boom. It don't matter. It don't matter, because at the end of the day, they don't see us no different. It don't matter who you dealing with, right? It don't matter who you dealing with. They grouped us all together, Flat and all his people, they had their thing going on, and just because we was alleged to be in the same business, right, they grouped us all together, and all they really needed, right, was one or two of them people that was in their group to say, yeah, I've been over there before, and yeah, he was a part of what we had going on. But truth being told, I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I had nothing to do with what they had going on. I actually don't even know none of them people personally. I know of them. I never met none of them people in person. I never dealt with none of them people. So that was why I wound up, I believe, not being a part of what wound up happening to them a little while after I got arrested in March 19th, 2015, and they wound up getting indicted. I want to say either the end of 15 or the beginning of 16. It might have been about a year later, but they was going around. They was nabbing a bunch of people, man. They nabbed a couple of my partner's homeboys that I grew up with, and but you know they was all a part of that other thing. They was on the low level, and you know we kind of talked after everybody had got arrested, because all of us was going to jail around the time for, you know, the heroin was hot. And now that I look back on it, I kind of feel like they pushed all of the heroin dealers out of the streets and made way for that fentanyl, because that's right around the time fentanyl came into the streets. And you know, I started to see people with it, and I started to be a real problem for the heroin game, because fentanyl made heroin extinct. You know, I witnessed that. You know, it went to where that you couldn't even sell no heroin. You know, they wanted that. You know, so that was my exit out of the game, because I already knew, okay, Yola ain't nothing no more. It ain't like it used to be, right? They was putting something on that, and now you got the boy. You know, you can't even do nothing with that. You got to have this stuff that's killing people, man, if you're going to make any money in the streets. And, man, I just didn't want to be a part of what I knew was going to go on with the streets from there on. It was just going to be, you know, a bunch of dudes out here killing the people that, you know, support your business. You know, and it was different. It was different when I was in the streets, because, you know, we was dealing what we was dealing and selling that to people, but we had relationships and we had love for these people. You know, we genuinely had love for these people, because a lot of these people was our people, our friends, parents and aunties and brothers and sisters, and you know, it was just people we knew and we had respect for. We knew what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? And we was about that money, but it was just different. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely didn't want to be somebody that was taking the people that I had grew up around, and you know, I had love for the people that I dealt with in the streets, and I believe they had love for me. That's when I knew the game was over, man. When that came in the game, man, I didn't know what it was, and I told people I thought it was crazy. I was like, man, y'all crazy, and then people started dying. People started dying, and I knew that the game had changed forever, because they was putting that in everything. In St. Pete in particular, you had people that was smoking crack dying from overdoses, fentanyl overdoses, snorting cocaine, fentanyl overdoses. They thought they was using heroin, but it was fentanyl. And, you know, the pills and all that stuff, man, it's in everything, man. Ain't no more dope game. It ain't nothing but the fentanyl game. If you're out there in the streets, you either on fentanyl or, you know what I'm saying, some other highly addictive form of a narcotic drug, man. And that's when I knew it was, you know, time to get out the street, because ain't no money in the game like it was when I knew it to be the game. That's the story of how I got into that, and I got out of it through fighting, man. It took me 7 years of fighting through the court system, motions to suppress, granted, then being overturned and sent back to court, the appeals process, one motion being appealed took us 2 years in court, just waiting for the second district court of appeal to come back with a decision on that. So those fights can take a long time, but you got to fight when you know you got them. If you know you caught red-handed, man, do what you got to do, and you know, get it over with. But I had to fight. They was trying to do it to me. My prior record, you know, I got 13 felony convictions, so that conviction would have did me in. You know, I'm talking about 27, 30 years, man. And in that particular situation, rather than taking 20, 30 years or plea out to, or whatever they was trying to give me, I felt like I should fight to prove my innocence. I'd really suggest that for anybody that feel like they're innocent or there's something wrong with the way they was arrested. It ain't for everybody, I tell you that. Lawyer fees. My first attorney I had been dealing with for 20 years got me a couple months before trial and basically quit on me and told me get another lawyer. Took my money, you know what I'm saying? So I had another attorney out of Tampa, and we went to the dope, and we were victorious. Long hard fight. A lot of money, researching. I spent time, countless hours, researching and getting the documents, the case law, all of the different things that I needed to fight that. And then I got an attorney that wasn't scared to fight. Let me shout out Lily McCarty and Maria Pavlitz. If I'm slandering the name, I apologize, but they're McCarty and Pavlitz. They're in Tampa. You can find them. She's on my friends list on social media, so definitely Lily them. I recommend them to anybody got anything going on. But just like anything that's good and worthwhile, have your money right. But yeah, that's how I got up out of that. Once I got myself out of that, man, I just decided and said, man, I'm not gonna let these people ever get me in this trick bag again to where that, you hustle and spend a lot of time, you make a lot of money, but in the end, they get it all through lawyer fees, paying for all these transcripts and all of this different stuff that you have to do in court, investigators, all the different stuff that you wind up having to pay for, man. You got tens of thousands of dollars, and at the end of the day, it's just not worth it, man. So take it from me, man. Streets crime don't pay, man. The pay that it do give you is short-term lived, and then when you have to suffer the consequences of it, that the money you build up, it's gonna take that away, man. And then you're gonna wind up. Most people don't end as lucky as me, man. And they wind up, either pleading out or losing in that trial, and we know where to go from now. But that's it, man. I want to share that story with y'all, man. Make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and I'm out. DP Kingpin Chronicles. Yeah.